Right, GoDaddy. New series. Let's kick it off.
In 2021, GoDaddy disclosed that attackers had accessed its Managed WordPress system. 1.2 million customers affected, file transfer credentials, database credentials, and private encryption keys stolen. The attackers had been inside for 71 days without detection. Then in December 2022, customer websites started redirecting to pornographic content, malware on the hosting servers, source code stolen, same attacker, same campaign, active since 2019. In January 2025, the Federal Trade Commission filed a complaint citing the absence of multi-factor authentication and adequate monitoring on internal systems. GoDaddy's marketing called its hosting security award-winning. The Commission called that deceptive. The final order required 20 years of third-party security assessments. This is the world's largest domain registrar. GoDaddy was founded in 1997 in Arizona. By 2011, it had grown into one of the most recognized internet companies in the world, known as much for its controversial advertising as for its domain registration business. In 2011, a consortium of private equity firms acquired it in a leveraged buyout valued at approximately $2.25 billion. The private equity ownership shaped the commercial character, aggressive growth targets, an upsell-heavy product model, promotional pricing designed to convert new customers, renewal pricing designed to retain revenue. The domain registration starts at almost nothing for the first year. The renewal is significantly higher. Domain privacy protection, which many competitors include at no additional cost, is a separately marketed paid product. Every checkout flow contains additional offers. The business model depends on customers not shopping around at renewal time or not realizing how large the gap between the promotional rate and the renewal rate actually is. Auto-renewal is the default. A user who registers a domain, forgets about it, and sees the renewal charge may be surprised by the amount. GoDaddy went public in April 2015. The current chief executive took leadership in September 2019. The same year, the first incident in the multi-year breach chain began. The company serves millions of small businesses and independent operators who want domain registration, hosting, email, and website building from one provider. That scale is precisely what makes the government's language significant. The failures were characterized as unreasonable for a company of its size and complexity. The scale created an obligation to implement basic security controls. The company failed to meet it. The government complaint identified specific missing controls, including multi-factor authentication for employee access, adequate threat monitoring, patch management, asset inventory, network segmentation between customer environments, and secure connections in the hosting infrastructure. Each of these is a fundamental security practice that a company managing millions of websites should have had in place before the breach, not after. The breach timeline spans 4 years and connects 3 incidents that were initially disclosed separately. In 2019 and 2020, attackers gained access to hosting credentials, affecting approximately 28,000 customers. The incident went largely unnoticed publicly. In September 2021, the same attacker used a compromised password to enter the Managed WordPress provisioning system. For 71 days, the attacker harvested credentials from 1.2 million current and former customers, while GoDaddy detected nothing. The stolen material was comprehensive: email addresses usable for phishing campaigns, file transfer credentials enabling direct modification of hosted websites, database credentials enabling data theft or manipulation, private encryption keys usable for intercepting traffic between visitors and websites, WordPress administration passwords reset to ones the attacker controlled. Each category of stolen data enabled a different attack against GoDaddy's own customers. The customers who trusted GoDaddy to host their businesses became targets because of the hosting provider's own security failures. In December 2022, the consequences became visible. Customer websites began redirecting to pornographic content and fake virus warning pages. A business owner whose website suddenly displays pornography faces immediate reputational and commercial damage, even though they did nothing wrong. The investigation found malware installed on the hosting servers and source code stolen. GoDaddy's own analysis confirmed what the government later characterized. The 2019, 2021, and 2022 incidents were connected. The same threat actor maintained access across all three. 3 years of persistence, enabled by the absence of basic security controls that a company of GoDaddy's scale should have had in place. The government finalized its order in May 2025. A comprehensive security program, mandatory. Third-party security assessments, required for 20 years. Specific controls covering every area where failures were identified, and a prohibition on deceptive security marketing. 20 years of external oversight is not a standard requirement. It expresses the level of concern. The user complaint record extends beyond the breach into the daily experience of being a GoDaddy customer. In September 2025, a user reported a charge of over $1,400 appearing on their payment card months after they had deleted their GoDaddy account. In December 2023, a user was charged nearly $300 for services they did not want and could not get an immediate refund because of authentication friction. In January 2026, charges for extended support of a programming language were rolled out to hosting customers without clear consent. The domain control complaints reveal a different pattern. A user who had held a domain for 10 years found it gone after expiration and then relisted as a premium domain at a price in the 5 figures. A business went offline in July 2024 after attackers changed the domain records through a compromised GoDaddy account, disrupting both the website and the email. A user purchased a premium domain, had the purchase reversed by GoDaddy, had their account locked, and then had the domain removed after they had already hired a developer to build on it. 10 days before this research, users reported a significant domain resolution outage affecting GoDaddy services. A domain resolution outage at a registrar affects not just websites hosted with GoDaddy, but any website whose records are managed through GoDaddy, including sites hosted elsewhere. In October 2024, a user's email had been down for 2 days with no resolution from support. A longtime web professional reported that support repeatedly dismissed a technical issue as user error rather than investigating. The gap between GoDaddy's scale and GoDaddy's execution is the most consistent theme across the entire complaint record. The company is large enough to have 24-hour phone support. It is also large enough to have a government enforcement action requiring 2 decades of external security oversight. GoDaddy is the default. It is where millions of people register their first domain and host their first website. The brand recognition is real. The phone support is accessible. The all-in-one model that bundles domain registration with hosting, email, and a website builder does simplify the process for someone who does not want to manage multiple providers. For a non-technical user who wants to get online quickly, GoDaddy does what it promises to do at the moment of purchase. The problem is what comes after. The renewal pricing that doubles or triples without clear warning, the auto-renewal defaults, the domain privacy that competitors include but GoDaddy charges for. The security record that produced a multi-year breach affecting more than 1 million customers, a government enforcement action characterizing the company's security marketing as deceptive, and a 20-year oversight requirement that no other company in any comparison on this channel has ever received. The gap between the promotional pricing and the renewal rate is not an accident. It is the business model. GoDaddy is the answer to the question of what happens when a company built on aggressive customer acquisition does not invest proportionally in customer protection. The domain registration works, the hosting works, the billing complaints, the security failures, and the government enforcement are what happens around the edges of a product that is designed to convert rather than retain trust. The world's largest registrar, the most regulated for security failures, a 20-year oversight order that will outlast most of the websites it hosts. The domain that costs almost nothing the first year teaches you everything about what GoDaddy values and what it does not.